He says he's fine. She says it doesn't matter. Neither of them means it. And somewhere underneath both of those sentences is the exact same thing. A thing almost no one says out loud, even to the person they love most. You already know this pattern, even if you've never named it. He pulls back when he's hurt instead of saying he's hurt. She goes quiet when she feels unwanted instead of saying she feels unwanted. Both of you are protecting the same soft, unguarded thing. And 2,000 years ago, the Stoics had already mapped exactly why that instinct exists and exactly what it costs. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private notebook, the one we now call Meditations, that men are made for each other, not for performance, not for winning, for each other. He wasn't writing about romance specifically, but the principle cuts straight through it. Connection requires exposure, and exposure feels like danger, even when the person across from you has never once given you a reason to be afraid. Here is what he never admits: not weakness, not indifference. He wants to be needed, not just wanted. Being desired feels temporary, tied to a mood, a body, a moment. Being needed feels permanent, tied to who he actually is when nothing is impressive about him. He will deflect this with humor, with distance, with a joke about not caring either way. But underneath almost every man who pulls away is a man terrified that if he says this out loud, he becomes a burden instead of a partner. Here is what she never admits: not neediness, not weakness either. She wants to stop being the only one initiating repair. She wants to know that if she said nothing at all, he would still notice something was wrong and move toward her, instead of waiting for instructions. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius that the greatest loss in life is time spent waiting. She isn't waiting for gifts or grand gestures. She's waiting for evidence that she doesn't have to manage the relationship alone. Epictetus, who once had nothing, not even his own freedom, taught that a man is troubled not by events, but by the meaning he assigns to them. This is exactly where most relationships quietly break. He goes quiet, and she assigns it a meaning. He doesn't care anymore. She grows distant, and he assigns it a meaning. She's already gone. Neither meaning is usually true, but both people commit to the story before ever asking a single, honest question. This is the paradox nobody wants to hear. The thing you're both afraid to say is almost always the exact thing that would fix it. Not a bigger gesture, not a better line. The plain, unarmored sentence, "I felt alone," or "I need to know this still matters to you," said without irony and without a joke to soften the landing. The dichotomy of control applies here with brutal clarity. You cannot control whether the other person receives your honesty well. You cannot control whether they change because of it. What you can control is whether you were finally actually honest, instead of performing a version of yourself that never needs anything from anyone. Marcus Aurelius never ruled his empire by hiding what mattered to him. He ruled it and loved the people around him by staying disciplined enough to act from truth rather than fear. That discipline is not coldness. It is the opposite. It is the only thing brave enough to say the sentence most people spend an entire relationship avoiding. So here is what nobody admits, stripped of the performance. He wants to matter beyond what he provides. She wants proof she isn't carrying the relationship by herself. Both of you are one honest sentence away from being understood. The only question left is which one of you says it first.